All right, in this next video, we're going to go ahead and add a couple more text boxes and a radio button, and go ahead and name and identify our text boxes and labels. So we're going to come over here and we're going to add, let's say we need 2 more labels. So we'll add that label and another label right below it. And then we're going to add, well, let's just add another label right below that one, and a radio button. Good, put that on this side of it, so now it's lined up correctly. And let's add a couple text boxes. And then let's put the button down here on this last one, okay? So let's just start thinking about how we want to do this. Let's add one more label up here on the top. And in that label, let's kind of put the definition, which I'm just getting off the internet, of what a future value calculator should do. I'm just going to paste that in like so, and then drag it all the way across like so. Kind of give it a good definition of what it does. And then this one, we're not going to actually change the name of this label. We don't need to do that because we're not going to really use it for anything. So we'll just say number of periods, like so, and then this one will be starting amount, PV. This one will be interest, spell it right, interest rate, looks like per year. And then this one will be periodic payment, or we'll call it deposit, and that's your payment. Okay, and then over here, this one will be payment made at the, and then here the text will be beginning, and then we'll add another. Did not spell that right. Let's spell it right. Beginning. Let's add one more component and name that one end. And then add another label here. And in there, say, of each compound period, like so. All right, now let's see if we can't just make this a little bit better. Like so. Those all look great. I like the alignments here. And then on this button, let's just go ahead and give that a thing called calculate. Like so, and let's add a icon to that. Let's add a calculator icon. Boom, just like that, and let us make that full and drag it out and change the role to primary. I like it being blue. You know, we could change the color if we want. We just click on more and say we want the background color. If we just give it a green is a good one too. Okay. All right. Now, what we are going to play with are these inputs. We want to make sure our inputs are named correctly. So this first input is actually, we're going to call it number of periods. And it's actually a text box. So TB, we'll end it with TB, text box. Okay, this one is starting amount, TB. Now notice that we're using underscores and to separate amount, makes it a little bit more readable. And this next one is interest rate, TB. And this one is deposit payment, TB. Okay. And this one is beginning radio button. And this one is ending radio button. Okay. So if we look at it, this looks great. If we go ahead and run it, hit the run button, everything looks good. Nothing's going to happen when it happens. And the radio buttons actually go back and forth. And they go back and forth because if you click on the radio button, they're in the same group. Radio group 1, radio group 1. And we could actually, we'll just leave it as that for right now. And on open is it which one is selected. So by default, I think ending is probably the better one. So let's just say selected. So when we run it, end is automatically selected. All right. So the way this Anvil works, it's all 100% written in Python. When you click the run button, it's going to run your application. It's going to run the application that has the lightning bolt next to it. So if I created another form, if I click this and say create another form, it's going to give me this option. I can just say a standard page, and I could change that one to the startup form. And if I run it, it's not it's running that form. Okay, so I'm going to delete that form. Let's set this one first as the startup, and then come over here, scroll down. There's the delete. Now, in Python, if you're in regular PyCharm or you run an application, you have a code view. Okay, when you run it, if you're not outputting to one of these answers, your output goes to the console. Okay, so if I come over here and I'm looking at this is the design view and the code view for this home form. If I just were to come over here and do the standard print hello world and run it, notice over here in my output, you get the hello world. So that's how this is your console that will show up. Now, let's just say my output is not being shown and I run the application. Notice I get the red bubble up here. It says, hey, look at your output. Okay. So, and this is just the basics of naming your text boxes, naming your calculator. So we didn't actually name that, right? So let's call this calculate button. Okay. So naming your all your buttons, putting them all on exactly how you like them, and then getting your form and setting it, and then also there's a code view.